I no longer accept money as a form of payment for commissions. If you want a drawing from me, you need to pay me in the form of authentic Pokemon games. Allow me to explain. So for some quick context, I grew up playing a ton of Pokemon. My favorite games were the Generation 3 ones for Game Boy Advance. Those were Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. Now a few years ago, I bought all those games I just mentioned, as well as 2 Game Boys, because some Pokemon can only be acquired through trading, as some of you may already know. My goal was basically to beat each game and complete the Pokédex, because I never really got around to doing that as a kid. Now, a few years ago, I recently discovered that all those games I bought were fakes. I bought them from a guy on Facebook Marketplace, and the cartridges looked legit when he showed them to me, but when I booted up the games back home, there was a message that would always appear in the home menu, like it would say the previous game could be loaded or something like that. And I thought this was weird at first, but the games played totally fine. I played a good amount of each one and was even able to trade Pokemon across them with my 2 Game Boys, so I just assumed they were legitimate. But after doing some research on YouTube and Google, I learned that the menu message I was getting was a telltale sign that all those games I bought were fake. And in retrospect, I should have known better. The guy sold them to me for like 40 bucks, and I guess it was naive of me to assume I could get 5 authentic Pokemon games for that price. So after I found out these games were fake, I didn't want to play them anymore. It kind of ruined the mood for me knowing they weren't legitimate copies. So I went online to see how much it would cost me to buy authentic versions, and yeah, that shit's not cheap, man. And that's when I came up with a brilliant idea. As some of you may know, I dabble in digital art and enjoy making comics or drawing neat little pictures, as you could tell by the time lapse of this video. And back when I was a broke college student, I was drawing not safe for work things for money, and people were commissioning me to draw naughty things for them. Now, I have a Patreon for my art account where people basically just sign up to get early access to my comics. I don't really do commissions anymore, but I went to my server and asked if anyone had authentic copies of any of those Gen 3 Pokemon games, and I would be willing to draw 2 requests for them in exchange. And to my surprise, someone actually responded. They said they had a copy of Pokemon Emerald. This individual was actually someone who had commissioned me in the past, and lo and behold, here he is offering me one of my favorite games. So we hopped on the Discord video call, and he booted up the game for me. It was definitely legit. It didn't have that weird startup message on the home menu, and I could tell he put many hours into it. He actually had a few of the gold symbols from the Battle Frontier, and for those of you who have played Pokemon Emerald, you already know how difficult that can be. So we had a brief exchange, and I'm like, are you sure you're fine mailing this to me? Like, don't you have any sentimental attachment to it? And he insisted that it was totally fine and that it was basically just collecting dust anyway, and he even offered me the DS Lite that he was playing it on. So we agreed on the trade. I will draw him 2 pictures of his choosing, and in exchange, he will mail me his DS Lite with Pokemon Emerald inside of it. Now, in the back of my mind, I was a little worried. I knew this individual had a history of commissioning a lot of X-rated stuff, and over the past year or so, I've been trying to gradually get out of that sort of thing. But to this person's credit, I think he was aware of that, and he knew not to request something too crazy. So, his first request was a picture of his original character in the JoJo pose, and I was like, alright, bet. I like JoJo, and that's a pretty harmless picture. Now, his second request was the same character from the JoJo pose, but he wanted me to basically draw her pregnant. And I know we see the memes online like, oh, now draw her pregnant, now draw her giving birth. And a lot of you guys probably think it's just an internet joke, but I can tell you right now, it's very much real. I have been commissioned many times in the past to draw pregnant women. But you know, as strange as the request was, I was totally fine with it. He was offering me his entire DS, and I really wanted to play Pokemon Emerald again, so I accepted. So long story short, he sends me the goods in the package, and he actually lives in the UK, so it took a solid week or so for it to arrive. And as agreed upon, I drew those pictures for him, and he seemed happy with them. I only had to make a minor adjustment to his character's design, but overall, it was a smooth transaction. And no, I'm not going to show the pictures, so don't ask. But yeah, overall, it was a good experience. I played through his Pokemon Emerald a bit and was surprised to see that he actually had a shiny Latios. So now I'm going to wait till I get another Generation 3 game so I can transfer all his rare Pokemon to it, because I don't want to just reset and erase everything and his entire childhood is gone, essentially. And now I know that whenever I need something valuable, I can reach out to my Patreon server and see if anyone has what I'm seeking, and we could do some sort of commission barter system. So that's a pro tip for all you artists out there. But I'm curious, if you guys were in my position, would you have drawn those requests for him? Honestly, I feel like I probably should have drawn more stuff for him because he also gave me his DS as well. But yeah, curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments.